How did you get the Alex Jones one to be 911, 911?
I had to plan it out.
So,
I had to fit some podcasts in. I had to do like extra ones the week before just so I could get to number 911 with Alex.
Yeah, that sounds like a long. That's
I could have had him on earlier, and I would have definitely had him on again for 9/11. But having him on the first time for 9/11, and to this day, that's our biggest podcast by far.
That was crazy.
By maybe 5 million downloads.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, but here's the conspiracy, right? Is that right? Am I saying correctly? What is the actual number?
It was like probably at 16 now. I didn't check in the last 2 or 3 days, but
okay, so it's 16 million down. Here's what's crazy. It never charted on iTunes. The iTunes charts magically went down while the Alex Jones podcast was in the queue, and they stayed down for over a week. Conspiracy theory. And then when it came back up, podcasts that got way less downloads than Alex's were rated much higher than his. And they had happened before and after his.
I do remember
this. His was the only podcast that was left out of the ratings loop. For sure, it would have been the number one podcast in the country. It was the number one podcast we did by a mile. And I've had the number one podcast before. It's like the number one podcast episode. That was more than 5 million downloads more than any other podcast I had before.
That's crazy.
So it for sure probably would have been number one if it wasn't.
That's a lot of downloads.
Unless they had like one of those serial episodes or something that came out that week.
Ooh, S-Town.
So there you go. And it's very likely that someone's trying to hold Alex Jones back.
And that just stokes his fucking fire.
They don't understand. It's the Streisand effect. Can't stoke the fire of Alex Jones. Even Megyn Kelly's fucked now.